समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
Driving through the IA market in Kolkata's Salt Lake area ahead of the second phase of polling in West Bengal, I stopped to listen to a young politician's fiery speech before a gathering of 40-50 people. He was Ranjit Mukherjee, the Congress candidate from the Bidhan Nagar constituency. I caught up with him later and I asked him, do you really fancy your chances? He was forthright. He said, no, but I'm doing it for the next election. I want the people to know my face. I'll fight for them for the next 5 years. By 2031, the Congress will be a formidable force in Bidhan Nagar. That was Ranjit Mukherjee. A few days earlier, Rahul Gandhi had launched a broadside against Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, saying that if she had run a clean government and not polarized Bengal, the BJP would not have gained an opening in the state. I asked Ranjit about Gandhi's attack. Ranjit vehemently defended Gandhi, emphasizing how being in alliances for 2 decades hurt the Congress. He found barely 20 party workers in the constituency to campaign for him. He said, I quote him here, Rahulji has done the right thing. It's time the Congress stood on its own and brought back its voters and workers who'd left the party. The Congress stands to gain from Banerjee's loss, as she was the one who appropriated its voters after quitting the party in 1997. Ranjit clarified hastily, the BJP remains our principal enemy, of course. The Bidhan Nagar Congress candidate, who ended up with 1498 and barely 1500 votes, was obviously in a dilemma. Whose defeat is better for the Congress, Mamata Banerjee's or the BJP's? His party high command is no less confused. Days after his tirade against Banerjee, Rahul Gandhi began chastising those, quote unquote, gloating about TMC's loss and alleging a theft of Bengal's mandate by the BJP. An analysis of the result by my colleague Maushmi Dasgupta shows that there were 26 seats where the BJP's victory margin was less than the number of deleted voters under dispute. There were 121 seats where the BJP's victory margin was bigger than the deletions. Basically, even without those 27 lakh controversial deletions, the BJP would have dethroned the Trinamool Congress government. Facts seldom come in the way of conspiracy theories, as we know. In Tamil Nadu, the Congress has dumped its old ally, Stalin's DMK, to support Vijay's TVK. The idea is to stay on the winning side. Not long ago, Rahul Gandhi-led youth Congress leaders in Tamil Nadu used to deliver slogans about bringing back Kamaraj rule, referring to the period when the Congress ruled the roost in the state. Gandhi has forgotten about that mission now, of course. In 2018, then BJP President Amit Shah had said that his party would rule India until 2050. That evoked wistful sighs in the ruling camp and contemptuous sneers from opposition leaders. 8 years later, Amit Shah's prophecy comes to mind as the principal opposition party keeps peddling conspiracy theories while trying to hang on to regional parties' coattails. Yet, these are the very parties that brought the Congress down to where it is today. From the DMK to the TMC, the SP, the NCP, the RJD, I mean, you name it. The regional parties demolished the Congress brick by brick. It's their current vote banks Gandhi should have been looking to reclaim if he wanted to revive the Congress. He has, however, chosen to make them allies and even play second fiddle to them in his ideological war against the BJP. Survival, not revival, seems to be the priority. Does the Congress have a plan to defeat the BJP? It doesn't, as is evident again from the latest round of elections. The party is hoping for a better show once Prime Minister Narendra Modi hangs up his boots. It has not noticed that the BJP has become an electoral juggernaut and looks already prepared for the post-Modi era. It was the party chief strategist, Home Minister Amit Shah, who engineered the fall of the Mamata Banerjee government, and the Assam election was entirely Himanta Biswa Sharma's show. There were similar stories in Haryana, Maharashtra and Delhi. The opposition is also playing a waiting game because it does not have a plan. A DK Shivkumar or Revant Reddy here and a Hemant Soren there might put up a fight, but the opposition largely looks clueless about how to defeat the BJP. Opposition leaders list a host of reasons or excuses for this. They talk about the BJP's well-oiled organizational machinery, its vast resources, support of what they call crony capitalists, compromised institutions, the RSS, biased media, and whatnot. The fact is that the opposition in Hungary was also citing similar reasons, except the RSS, of course, to explain then Prime Minister Viktor Orban and his party Fidesz iron grip on the country. Peter Magyar, a corporate lawyer who quit Fidesz to rejuvenate the inactive TISA party, took just 2 years to demolish Orban. That was in April last month. Of course, PM Modi is not Orban and the BJP is not Fidesz. But there is a lot for the Indian opposition to learn from Magyar. He refused to join hands with the traditional fragmented left-wing opposition parties, which had come together to unsuccessfully try to dislodge Orban from power in the previous parliamentary elections in Hungary. Rahul Gandhi had chosen to go with the same old parties. One can also argue that Gandhi is not a breath of fresh air like Magyar. The Congress leader might have seen this headline in The Guardian, and you quote that headline. Peter Magyar's real coup was winning over loyal Orban voters, not preaching to the converted. That was the Guardian headline. Gandhi has been preaching to the converted, taking positions that would have endeared him to the left and liberal intelligentsia in India and abroad. Hungarian political theorist Nora Sols, who authored that Guardian article, wrote, and I quote it here, instead of dwelling on the obstacles or playing the victim card while talking to voters from the comfort of parliament or Budapest-based TV studios, Magyar began to tour the country and organize rallies even in the Fidesz heartlands. His events featured Hungarian flags, folk songs, poems and historical references, unquote. Pointing out the role of national culture in Hungarian politics, she wrote, Fidesz clearly tried to appropriate patriotic symbolism and associate everyday things such as going to a football match with support for the right. The left liberal parties were rightly critical of this. However, instead of offering an alternative vision of Hungarian national identity, they shied away from this issue for the most part, avoiding national symbols, conceding ground to Fidesz, unquote. Rahul Gandhi has a lot to think about. He should be reading this article. Magyar focused on issues that matter to the people in their day-to-day lives. Cost of living, problems in public healthcare and transport, corruption, inflation, low wages, etc., etc. Rahul Gandhi does refer to such issues, but mostly in passing and rhetorically. There is no sustained campaign. Another article in The Guardian pointed to Orban's vulnerabilities. And a quote article here. The communication machine that once allowed Fidesz to frame everything from migration to inflation as the fault of enemies of the nation gradually lost its grip on the public. The narrative of the external enemy became too inflated. After 4 years, warlike rhetoric lost its shock value, unquote. This article explained how Magyar scrapped the traditional opposition playbook. Instead of campaigning to the left, he laid claim to Orban's political space. TISA's messaging was that Fidesz was no longer the true patriotic party and that Magyar's TISA would assume that mantle, unquote. One could argue that Magyar could claim that space because he was a former member of Fidesz and the TISA party was also center-right. Rahul Gandhi's Congress has actually moved from the center to the left. Global investor Ruchi Sharma recently argued that the BJP was dominant because there was no competition on the right. Well, Arvind Kejriwal did seek to occupy that space by reciting Hanuman Chalisa, praying with his family and cabinet colleagues at the Ayodhya Ram Temple replica in the national capital, and later actually visiting the temple in Ayodhya, supporting the abrogation of Article 370, introducing patriotism classes in government schools, and staying away from Shaheen Bagh protests, among others. That could perhaps explain why the BJP went after him with a sledgehammer. The Congress struggles to fend off the BJP charge of minority appeasement. Around 55% of its newly elected MLAs in the 4 states are Muslims and Christians. 18 out of 19 Congress MLAs in Assam are Muslims, prompting Amit Malviya and even AIUDF President Badruddin Ajmal to call the Congress the new Muslim League. It's unfair criticism, of course. There is nothing wrong in the Congress wearing secularism on its sleeve or advocating the minorities' cause and soliciting their support. Where it plays into the BJP's hands is when its government in Karnataka allocates 600 crore rupees for the development of colonies for minorities, just to give you just one instance. In the run-up to the Assam election, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge promised to rehabilitate those who were evicted in Himanta Sharma government's anti-encroachment drive. It came as a reminder of the Hungarian left's opposition to Orban's anti-migrant border fencing. Similarly, a party that questions the achievements of Operation Sindoor and talks about the downing of Indian fighter planes can't counter the BJP's nationalism pitch. Gleefully taunting PM Modi for being scared of US President Donald Trump does not really raise a party's nationalist credentials. The Congress does not need to move to the center right to take on the BJP. It just needs to return from the left to the center. After all, 63% of voters did not choose what is seen as India's only center-right party, the BJP, in the 2024 Lok Sabha election. That's all from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Thanks for watching.